In my last video, we built this, the exterior for this cottage. So today we're gonna do the interior. And I did put it, sped up again, but only 2 times speed, because I still wanted to, talk during it. And I didn't want to be too fast, but I want it to be, fast enough that you don't get bored, but slow enough that you don't, not know what's going on. You can still follow it as a speed build if you want to. I just replayed that and that was so confusing, but basically I just made it fast enough that you can still watch it, but slow enough that you can still follow it as a speed build.
I'm still confused.
Anyways, into the actual decorating part of this, finally I decided to start with the kitchen, and I wanted to just have enough items that you could have a meal and get your moods up without having a whole kitchen. So I got this, cooler and made sure it's functional because I have never used it before. I didn't actually know they had it, so that's nice. And so I just added all the appliances that I wanted to add so I wouldn't forget about anything. And then I went in, made sure I wasn't missing anything.
You said that already.
Made sure I could still make a functional meal with it, and then went into counters and added those. Once I added my counters, I took about a good, 9 minutes trying to decide what color I wanted to make it, but I skipped ahead of that part because it's a little boring. I decided to choose it, make it wood, so it had that, fairy cottage feel to it still, but added marble to make it modern. I don't know why I did that. I feel like the marble doesn't really fit, but it looked good at the end, so it's fine. And then I actually remembered to add a sink, which has never happened before. I always have to have someone remind me, or just I forget altogether. So I was really proud of myself for that. I then started to decide where I wanted the appliances, and then built the cabinets around that so I could add the microwave in this kind of cabinet so that it didn't take up any counter space and I'd still have enough room to make a proper meal. And then I got a half one above the sink so that, no one hits their head, of course.
Hit her head.
So I colored the microwave so it kind of blends in because it was ugly before. And this, kind of fits. And then I added this, brick behind the cabinets because I thought it looked nice. Then I placed all my appliances just in the kitchen so that, I just started to place them in the kitchen. And then I wanted to put the cooler in the cabinet, because all the other appliances you could color and they looked nice, but the cooler still looked like a cooler. It's a cooler. It's not gonna look good. So I tried to put it in the counter like this, but I decided that was not gonna work. So I got out of build mode and ran over there to open the cupboard. That's when I realized I forgot to put lights, but I continued to not add lights at that point.
I can't believe I made this mistake again.
So I colored the cooler and put it under the sink, or under the counter, sorry. And then I went through and made sure I wasn't forgetting anything. And then I started to do the outdoor kind of kitchen area because I thought, this is kind of a dining room, I guess. And so I added a barbecue for hot dogs and stuff. And then I added a table and some chairs so that you could actually sit out there and it would be an eating area since I didn't have room for one inside. And of course some lights because you don't want to be blind. You want to be able to see at night. And I considered adding a chair, but there was not really much room. I then colored the stuff and I ended up changing the color later. So yeah, I ended up just changing the metal part to black, I think. Or wood, I can't remember. And then I went back inside because I realized that I forgot lights in the kitchen, and I finally remembered. So I added a candle. If you want to add light to your house but don't want to add ceiling lights, add candles. They're cheaper than lights for you don't have to pay bills on them. They're cheaper to start out with, and they add so much light, and you can just change the color to any normal light color, and it just makes it 10 times better than having a normal light.
So hot. So many candles.
I then moved on to the bathroom because it was right there and it was really small and I didn't know how I was gonna decorate it, but I ended up putting the shower kind of in the sink, which it's not the most functional, but is functional. So I think it's fine. Just like, hopefully I can fit. And then I added the toilet because I wanted a cheap one. I ended up adding the, like, broken toilet, but I think it doesn't look that bad. It's
You better be joking.
just like there's a missing piece of it, and I feel like that kind of adds to the look of the, like, kind of rundown cottage house thing in the woods. And, like, maybe I don't have time to keep up with the toilet, so it broke. It's not that big of a deal. And then I added a painting instead of a mirror because I don't really like the look of the big blue mirror on the wall. I just think it looks kind of bad. And then you can add like a decal. I then stared at my bathroom for a good 10 minutes because I thought it needed more, but I didn't know what more to add because it was so small, but it just looked so plain. I ended up just adding a light and calling it a day though, because I had no idea what I could add to such a small space. If you have any ideas, please tell me because I need them. And then I went into the bedroom but I was having such a hard time deciding what to do, so I just kind of stared at it for a few minutes. But eventually I decided that I wanted to add a loft bed, which they don't call them loft beds, they just call them bunk beds, which I think is kind of weird.
What's up? You guys have made my life absolutely miserable.
After adding my bunk bed, I recolored it and moved it so that I had enough space in the room to actually get through. And when I had it that way, it just didn't really fit. So I had it like this and then just kind of decorated the room a bit. I'm not really sure how to describe the decorations. I just kind of went with the same fairy theme while still making it functional and look like a real bedroom. With this bedroom, I ended up really liking the way it looked, especially it was so cheap, and I was just really impressed with how good it looked. I ended up making it a bit messy just so it had a realistic look to it, as if someone actually been living in there, because I didn't want it to look like a shove home, because, it was a little house, and I didn't think that matched the style. So I added some blankets and stuff to make the room really cozy. Then I moved on to the living room, and I ended up adding the new, broken sofa. Not new, it came out a few months ago, but I still call it new. And I added, little steps to the door so you wouldn't just, fall down. But the reason I added the broken sofa is because I want the living room to look like they just, built it themselves or got it from, it's old. They just had nothing else to use, so they used this. That's kind of what I wanted it to look like. And I wanted to look lived in still, so I added that, the books under the couch and, that kind of thing. I switched around the layout of this living room a lot, because I just couldn't decide. But I did end up making the couch, different materials, so it didn't look dirty and used. It just, the leg broke, So it wasn't as bad. It was just a broken leg as opposed to a full, old, used, dirty sofa. ended up moving it to this side of the room so that I could put a TV on a blank wall because the other side had a window on it and I didn't want the TV to block the window. So I added the rustic bench and, like, television or whatever. And if you want it to, like, boost your mood faster, you can add a better TV. I just thought this one was really cute, and I thought it kind of fit the house really well. And I thought, yeah, I just wanted to add this one. But if you want to boost your moods with it, then I'd add a better TV. This one's also super cheap, so I just thought it was a good idea. And then I added this carpet, but I took so long trying to decide what, like, pattern and color to make it because none of them fit the room. They all looked too, like, I don't know, they just didn't look right. So I spent a really long time trying to decide on this carpet, but I think in the end I picked one that fit the room really well, and I'm happy with it. At this point, I realized I didn't have a light in this room, and I couldn't decide if I wanted to add, like, a candle like the other room or some sort of lamp, and I had no idea. So I ended up adding, like, a little pendant light above, but it didn't give off a lot of light, so I layered it twice. But there was still not enough light, and I remembered that a candle was a good thing to add. So always add a candle if your room is too dark, but you want to use a specific light that doesn't give off a lot of light. I also had a bit of extra money, so I went back to the bedroom, and added some, like, a little wall light, and I went around adding little things that I thought would add to the space, like little candles and decorations and a laptop in the bedroom. And then I remembered that there was this crate that I haven't used since I discovered Bloxburg the first time. And I thought it would make a really cute dining table resized because it's just like a little old crate that they didn't have a dining table, so they used this, you know? I thought it fit really well. So I recolored that and added some, like, a coffee mug on it. And I thought it ended up looking really cute, and this is when the house was almost done. I went through, added finishing touches like books, decorations, anything else that I thought would make the room look more detailed, and then it was time for the grand reveal. Here is the finished 1-bed, 1-bath, tiny home, cottage, whatever you want to call it. I am aware that it is next to a modern mega mansion, but don't look that way. This house turned out so cute. I'm actually really happy with it, even though it is next to a modern mansion. But I just think it turned out so cute and cozy, and I love, like, the little details, like the books under the couch and all that. It is fully functional. You can make meals, you can sleep, you can get your moods up, like all of them, fun, hygiene, everything. A fully functional bathroom. Oh, I forgot to change the mirror. But this is just a good example of how much better these mirrors look than adding, like, the regular blue blocks that Roblox calls mirrors, because they don't function, so there's no point in using them if they're just a big blue block. So that's the finished bathroom. And then to the left of the bathroom is the really cozy bedroom. It has a little chair, a little study area, and then here's the bed. I was having a really hard time showing the top of the bed because I couldn't, like, stay up on the ladder. But you saw it while I was building it, it's fine. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do recreate it, be sure to tag me or, like, tell me in the comments.